What's up, good people, and welcome back to YouTube from Scratch, where we step you through the entire process of creating a channel from scratch and seeing it to monetization and beyond. This is day 12 of us uploading every day consistently here on this channel, and we're doing that to show you that this does work. These systems do work, where you can grow your channel from scratch if you just follow these steps and follow some basic steps. But today we wanted to talk about something that is very important, which is developing your own strategy of growth. Now, I'm saying develop your own strategy of growth because there are many different ways to go about strategizing how you're going to grow your channel. And obviously there are different types of YouTube channels. So, one strategy does not just fit all channels. And I think that is one of the main misconceptions that, happens to new YouTubers when they start the platform, is thinking that one strategy is going to work across all channels. Now, there are some basic fundamentals which we are outlining here on this channel that do work across multiple channels, but in terms of developing your own strategy of how your channel is going to grow, we need to kind of outline and find a strategy that works specifically for your particular niche and content. So the first thing you want to do that is really define what your niche is, what your niche is and what your content is about, and really have a grasp of, how that is going to play into whatever audience you're bringing in and how you're going to speak to that specific audience, with your strategy. Now, different strategies have different components. One of them is, how often you're going to upload, how are you going to keep your viewers engaged, onto, how you're going to monetize your channel. Now, I know monetization for the large part on YouTube deals with the AdSense program, but there are other ways that you're going to monetize your channel outside of the AdSense program, even before becoming monetized. And all of those things are a part of your strategy. So you really want to nail down, those things in terms of your specific strategy and how they're going to play into that and how you're going to grow. So a few different strategies I want to discuss today are, just for different types of channels. One, let's just talk about, a cinematic type channel first, because I think that's one of the things that, a lot of people come to the platform and they see and they want to aspire to, creating kind of cinematic type content, specifically for channels that do a lot of entertainment type videos. So, in developing a strategy for that, you really want to think about the first key metric is, how often you want to upload, specifically because sometimes those videos will take a lot more time and effort to create than, say, a talking head video such as we're doing right now. So it's really, wise for you to really consider how often you want to upload. And we do advise out of the gate uploading as much as possible and creating and pushing out as much video content as you can on the front end, but kind of settling into a good rhythm of how often you're going to upload. And a good sweet spot for cinematic type content usually is 3 times a week. If you really want to ramp up your growth and grow rapidly, trying to put out content at least 3 times a week, and so that gives you time to shoot and edit your videos. That's a really good thing to aspire to. But if you can't do that, it's perfectly fine to 2 times a week or even 1 time a week as a metric to kind of shoot for. The next thing you may want to consider in your strategy is how you're actually going to produce your videos. So you have kind of a set upload schedule that you're thinking about. And the next thing you might want to think about considering is how you're producing your videos and really getting the content recorded, shot, whatever you want to call it. What are those things what schedule do you need to set for those things? How easy is it going to be for you to put that schedule together and stick with that schedule? Because I know we talked about this in one of our previous videos about just being consistent with your uploads and being able to kind of set a specific time that you're going to be able to get content out. So it's really important for you to kind of create that system inside of what you're doing to be able to do that. Now, the next thing after you kind of determine, your schedule and how often you're going to upload and how you're actually going to produce your videos is really determining, what your main focus is going to be in terms of characteristics that kind of define your specific channel. That's a good part of your strategy to do because it's often overlooked, and it has a lot to do with your personality. And I know we also talked about this in a previous video, your personality being a real key metric in your YouTube growth, because it is the thing that is going to keep attracting people back to your channel over time. And having that right personality that fits your content is really what's going to do that. And as I mentioned before, that doesn't mean that you have to be this bubbly personable thing, because every type of content doesn't lend well to that. If you're talking, like I said, specifically for cinematic, it just means that you are carrying forth some consistency in the way that you're presenting that content, whether that could be in the production value, which can grow over time, or just in the basic overall theme of how you're presenting things, so that your viewer does understand that, hey, I'm watching this particular content from this particular creator because I can see those markers that I can identify with and I'm familiar with. And something as simple as having a beginning or ending buffer or intro or outro that doesn't take up too much time, because that's something that you don't want to do. You don't want to belabor, or you don't want to eat up a lot of time with intros and outros, specifically when you're starting your YouTube journey, because people want you to get to the point. And that really is important when you're doing educational type content. And let's talk about that next. Doing educational content, coming up with a strategy that works for educational content is a little bit easier, or can be a little bit easier, if you are aware of what people are really looking for. Mostly for educational content, people want the material. They want to be taught something, and they're looking to be taught something that they're looking for. So a lot of times with educational content, you just need to put the value up front. You just need to make sure that what you're talking about is what is on topic to your titles. And that's a real important key thing to do with educational content, that if you come up with a title that is resonating with a specific audience, make sure you're speaking to that title with your content as much as possible, so that the person that is viewing that content will come back and say, hey, this is specifically what I was after when I came to this content, and I got what I was after. So this creator did give me value, so I may want to check them out again. And that's how you really kind of bring in new subscribers and keep the subscribers that you have. Another good strategy to keep in mind when doing educational content is to be consistent with your thumbnails and overall theme of your channel, so that people coming to that are seeing and recognizing who is presenting the information. Similar to what you're doing with other type content like cinematic or entertainment type content, you want the user to always recognize, this is the channel that I'm dealing with. And that can be as simple as including yourself in the thumbnails, or other things such as that. So those are really two great key components of strategies that will help your channel grow and grow exponentially when they are used. I hope this was helpful to someone, and we'll see you in the next one.